Hello, and you're watching the Cornwall channel. I'm Lewis Nicholls, and today I am joined by legendary comedian Jethro. So hello Jethro, thank you so much for joining us today outside the hall for Cornwall.
Well, it's not a problem because we're all set up now, there's nothing to do, so I'm just glad of someone to talk to, really. You know what I mean? You get bored.
Company.
Yeah, I walk around every town in England.
So you must love, I mean, you're here in Truro, the capital of Cornwall, but you said to me on the phone prior last week that this show's going to be slightly different to the other shows that you've done.
Well, the thing is, when I'm in Cornwall, I can talk, and I talk about places that they all know.
Yeah.
And I can talk and use language, like accent, that nobody else would understand. So, you know, they're all as Cornish as I am, and that's great. Oh, it's like coming home, isn't it?
And you've got to have a good audience. I've already seen people talking in there.
I think they said there's 6 empty seats. Well, that's not too bad. But we'd like to add 6 more, but there you go. You can't have everything at my age, can you?
Well, I was going to say, how many shows a week do you do now? Because I know you're very active for the club.
It varies. Last week we did Hereford, Solihull, and where was Porthcawl in Wales. We did 3 last week, and then this is the only one this week, and next week I do Weston-super-Mare and Torquay. Well, I'm somewhere on the Saturday, I don't know.
And do you still have your club?
No, the club was closed down 3 years ago. Different times, Lewis, you know. People used to go out to entertainment, and I was lucky because I'd done all those hard clubs right through the 70s and 80s, you know, and I saw brilliant acts, absolutely brilliant acts that nobody knew. Nobody knew them, and I clocked them all for years. So why aren't these superstars? And of course, when I opened my own club, all those people that I brought them all to Lew Down, and people couldn't believe the quality of act. But they should have been stars, every one of them. Dennis Beard, a little man from Wolverhampton, unquestionably was the funniest man I ever saw in my life, ever.
Wow. Never made it on television?
Never met. An 80-year-old, he was 80 then, comedy magician. Absolutely hilarious. When he was in the club, I could watch him for about a minute. I used to go and lean over the hedge. He was that funny.
And I mean, but it's clear now that comedy's changed. It's very much an observational thing. You've got your Lee Evans, your Michael McIntyre, so it's not as kind of, you didn't like, you know, in the 80s you had people like Jim Davidson, you had yourself, you had real comedy.
Comedy is an individual thing. I'd never say, the new comedy I listen to every night virtually, live in the parlour, and I listen to all, but it's not my comedy. But I wouldn't say it's wrong, because comedy is what makes you laugh. If those people are laughing at that and they love it, fine, that's comedy. Then a lot of people wouldn't like what I do, but then there is no rule with comedy. If you find it funny, it's good. If you don't, it's bad. Simple as that. All right across the board.
And is there anyone kind of on the current scene at the moment that you're a fan of, that you enjoy to watch? Is there somebody out there at the moment that you think is going to be?
I would think Peter Kay for me would be the best of them, because probably he would be more leaning toward mainstream, which I wasn't a gag man, I've been a storyteller, because I couldn't remember all them gags, but I could remember a few stories, you know.
But Peter Kay, I don't know if you've seen it yourself, he did this thing on song titles and misheard lyrics. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't.
That's a clip, you can get on YouTube and see that one.
Yes. YouTube, not me. You must be joking. I haven't got a computer.
But so when for you would you say your big break in the television industry came into? When did you break?
Well, it was crazy. I used to do a charity with Jim Davidson and Jim Bowen, Marty Kane, myself. I was the only unknown on the bill, really. We used to do it for the Sharon Allen Leukemia Trust. Okay. We did one in the Coliseum, and we stole it out. It was called Night of 1,000 Laughs, and we went up, all of us. It was a great night. And Marty Kane was gorgeous. Absolutely loved Marty Kane. I broke my heart when Marty died. She's such a lovely person. I couldn't speak any higher of a person than I did Marty Kane. And we was doing the show in Blackpool, and I'd been shortlisted to the last 50. They wanted 9 new comics for the series of 9 shows, and I've been shortlisted in the last 50. I said to my manager John Miles, I said, well done to get me in the last 50, but they'll never come to Cornwall. They'll go to Liverpool or the Midlands or London. You know, I said, well done, but it won't go any farther. And I did the show in Blackpool. They wouldn't let me see the theatre. It was the Opera House. They wouldn't let me see the theatre. Instead, it frightened the life out of him.
It was too big.
Yeah. So anyway, it was packed. And I did have a good show, and I came off, and I was pleased to have gone that well. And the man said, "You'll be on the Desert Cornish show." I said, "You think I will?" He said, "I'm involved with it." Yeah.
Wow.
So, and then the craziest thing. So let's look at it. I had to be there. I had to go well. He had to be there and hear me, and he had to see my name on the list. It's like winning the lottery, isn't it? You got to 4 numbers drop the same time. And then I got booked to do the Desert Corner show, and I went up on the Monday for rehearsal. On the Tuesday, I went and spoke after dinner somewhere up north, and I come back on the Wednesday, but it wasn't a live show. It was being recorded. And you imagine how many times I rehearsed what I was going to do.
Yeah.
Big chance, massive chance. Desert Corner show Wednesday night was massive. And I'm on it, for God's sake. You know, I'm come from St. Buryan on a bike. You know, it couldn't be there. And I rehearsed right through what I was going to do. And because it was recorded, there was no time limit on how long it could go on. And I'd done everything that I was going to do, and I'd been through it a million times.
Yeah.
You know, I know exactly what, and I'd gone well, and I was pleased I'd gone well. And because there's not no time limit on it, because it was a recorded show, Des is milking me for more.
Okay.
Now the only thing I could think that was decent and clean enough to go on television was the train at Camborne. I wasn't going to do it. Because they was milking me for more. I did it, and it was that story that made me. And so I shouldn't have been on it at all unless there was a bit of luck in Blackpool.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have been remembered because I didn't tell. So just a run of absolute luck.
So you were going to leave that out originally? You didn't know whether to put. You didn't know whether to put the train of Camborne in.
Well, I wasn't going to do it at all. I worked out what I was going to do.
And you worked there quite a few times. At 9 appearances or quite a few?
9 or 11 or something like a lot. Anyway, He used to ring me about once a week, and I said, "Look, I haven't got enough new material yet. Ring me in a fortnight." You know, but I think you can do too much television. Don't go on unless you're going to be as good or better than what you was last time.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen people come on and they're very, very good, and then they keep doing television and they go down and down and down. Yeah. Don't do it. You're better off not to do it. Be remembered for being funny if you can. But you can go even now. It's the business all around the wrong way. In my early days, I had no experience, no material. I worked the hardest clubs you could ever work.
Yeah.
You know, when people were shouting to leave and go home in a jerky fashion, you know. And that was really, really hard. And you didn't know how you was going to be taken until you got there. And now after all these years, with 42 years experience and 42 years of material, I worked the easiest places you could ever work. Everybody paid to come and see me, said they wanted to see me. I could have done with a bit of this back when I was struggling. So it was hard. But I think now you're either on the television on the Live from the Apollo, or it's a massive jump from being a comic to getting on that show.
Yeah, of course.
If you get on that show, there's no clubs you can go and serve your time. You know, it's no sort of practice area, is it?
And I mean, but for you, you've obviously worked your way up. You know, you've done everything, what it takes to be a comedian, and you've had your TV break and you're still doing the clubs. But I've watched a lot of videos on, like I said, YouTube with you and Jim Davidson, and your relationship seemed, you had a lot of fun. A lot of fun with Jim on the Generation.
Jim came down and saw me in working in Cornwall, and I was doing a show, and he said if there was a school for comedy, they'd put you on and say, never do what this man is doing, because it's all wrong. Everything is wrong about it. But he said it's funny. But see, I had no one to really learn from in my early days. I had to go in the pubs and do it, and if it wasn't funny, I tried something different until I worked out what made the people laugh. And then I went away, and I was working with bigger shows, and Jim came down to see me in Newquay one night, and I had a good show. And I said, "What do you think, Jim?" He said, "Rubbish." I said, "Rubbish, Jim?" I said, I went, "Well." He said, "Listen, when I met you first, you was right out of the sticks. Now," he said, "you work with other acts and you're copying them. You'll go like them." He said, "Go backwards, not forwards." Probably the best advice I ever had in my life.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
And also in 2001, I believe, you performed at the Royal Varieties Show.
Yes, I did, yeah.
Now that must have been an honour. How do you get approached for something like that? Do they come to you and say, we'd love you to do this?
I think one of the Royals asked if I could be on it.
Wow.
Yeah, because I know the Royals from before that, and one of them asked if I could be on it, and they put me on, and yeah, that was lovely.
That must have been a great moment for you to be on the stage.
On the stage, the Royal Variety Show. I mean, it's awful long way from Cornwall,
Yeah.
And sometimes when I did them things with the company I was playing to, I think, Jethro, you come from Penzance Road in Burren in a 2-bedroom cottage with 6 people. They're one of 4 brothers. And I said, what am I doing here? And I've done it times. I once went to the north of England to do after dinner. I said they won't understand me because my accent was that strong because I was brought up in West Penwith.
Yeah.
They couldn't understand me in Plymouth. They do a little bit now because I've been away that many years. My accent have changed. But if I go back home, I soon get back into it. And I was doing this dinner, and I said, well, nobody will understand me. I'm going to die 1,000 deaths. And the first speaker got up and he said, I won't be speaking too long because our guest speaker from Cornwall, he's drunk that much, he's going to fall over. We got to get him on his feet. And the second one sort of reimbursed what he said. Yes, he said, we must get him on. And I thought, I'll go on with it. And you remember I used to sound drunk? And I did an hour and a quarter drunk. And I was able to repeat myself. I said, I'm lucky to get here. I was lucky to get here. I was lucky to get here. I was lucky to get here. I did this for an hour and a quarter and stormed the place.
I love it.
And I drove on that. Everybody understood me because I could repeat myself. And I drove home on my own then, couldn't afford a driver, all the way. And I rehearsed my jokes all the way home, drunk. And then, but the Cornish people didn't understand it. But they said, why is he talking like that? But it was the niche I needed to make myself slow down. And if you go to a theatre now with a lot of echo, you've got to physically slow down. You've got to do 20 minutes. If you've got to do half an hour, do 20 minutes material. Okay. Slow it down by a third. And if you slow, with our accent, where I come from, it's in Burren, our accent, if you slow it down, they got time to work out what you said.
They need that exercise. Yeah. I'm a Penzance boy myself.
Are you?
Yeah, Haymore.
Oh yeah, well I lived in my young life in Sancreed.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to be close to my mother, Yeah, we lived in St. Burren, then I left there when I was 7. Then we lived in Sancreed for all my young life, really.
Yeah.
But there you go.
And today in St. Just was the man engine that went to keep it in. I was speaking to you earlier in the week and you were telling me about, the man engine. And so you were into the mining, because didn't you work in mining?
I worked in Levant mine for 12 months, yeah. And I've been in the man engine shaft. And it's fascinating. And it's something eerie about that shaft. I went in and took my helmet off and looked down and it was bottomless. And I remember it all in the 1990 and all the... There was every family in St. Just and Bendine lost somebody, but and there was a disaster, absolute disaster. That was the man engine. The man engine shaft is still there, of course. But you go down there, years ago, the Western Television used to do little things around Cornwall that were priceless. There was a water shortage in Pendine, and they interviewed a man out there, and they said, is a water shortage in Pendine. Why do you think that is? In a lovely Pendine accent, he said, the trouble with it is, people have come down from up the country and they're having a bath every week.
That's why there's a water.
Beautiful. And the woman up St. Just, somebody was ill, and I said, how was he? She said, he sadly died. I said, I'm sorry. See, well, isn't it funny, Jeff? She said, some people die young and others go right on last minute. I knew exactly what you meant. But no, it's gorgeous, isn't it?
I love living in Cornwall. Absolutely love living in Cornwall.
Oh, so you would.
But you also, talking about Cornwall, before comedy, you had a rugby career. You played rugby.
I played for the Pirates, yeah.
Pirates.
Yeah, I played for the Pirates for several years.
Did you still follow them and follow them?
Oh, yeah. And when there was Penzance Newlyn, I was a bit of a Penzance Newlyn man and not a Cornish Pirates man. I was Penzance Newlyn, which was the Pirates, and It was never the Penzance Pirates.
Yeah.
There was the Penzance Pirates, not the Cornish Pirates. They could have found any name for that, but I was a bit, had a bit of a problem with that. We was PNN RFC, and I always will be when I.
But do you have fond memories of your rugby career?
Oh yeah. I played with Stack Stevens and John O'Shea and Eric Kerr. I was a good team, and a lot of locals, John White and Colin Diamond, Ronnie Mungles from Hale, Peter Penrose, and Neil Kerr. Yeah, it was a good side.
I got to say, one of my favourite.
Roger Pascoe.
Who?
Roger Pascoe. Roger was only about 5'5". The most safest fullback you ever saw in your life.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got to say, one of my favourite jokes from you has to be the David Beckham one on the horse. When I watched that, I was absolutely crying. I mean, do you use that one a lot in your shows? Because that must.
Yeah, I do.
I must get a lot.
Yeah.
You said you've added a bit onto that.
Oh, I bet you. That's what the stores they build.
Yeah.
You're doing it one night, and for no apparent reason, you just think of someone else to put in. You see it when you're working, and you put it in. It works. So then it's part of the story,
So just add on.
Oh yeah, add on all the time. Yeah.
So what's next for you now? Do you have any kind of DVDs being released? Is there anything?
No, I think I've done my last DVD. I'm 68 now. I've been around a lot of years. I can remember when the Dead Sea was reported sick. I can. So they. No, I think I'll finish the DVDs now. I should be retired, but I do enjoy it. I was in Newark with 5 old ladies in the front row. They'd piddled themselves for sure. They're howling, these 5 old ladies. Probably all the wrong side of 85, probably all widows. And they got together and come out, and I looked at them, I thought, I don't know who's enjoying this more, you or me. I'd walk here to make them girls laugh. I'd have walked there and done that for nothing.
Wow.
It was just a joy to see them laugh like that.
I suppose it's hard to get out of that as well. If you've got a passion for comedy and you can see that your comedy is also making other people very happy.
Yeah, it's in your blood, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's in your blood. But you can go around and you can do theatre after theatre and you stand the crowd up in the end of it. Did last week. I did Hereford and Solihull, stood the crowd up in the end without being asked for it, and that was voluntary. This whole crowd stood up both nights. They had a wonderful show. Went to Porthcawl, sticky. For some reason, and there's no reason why. Same man, same act. Porthcawl was sticky. So you never get too confident, do you? As soon as you get a bit too confident, someone will knock your legs out from under you.
Of course. Like you said, people absolutely love it. And you did was it last year you went to Jubilee Pool and you did a show for the...
Yeah, I went down for the Jubilee Pool. Well, I learned to swim there, like everybody did in West Penwith. They all went to the Jubilee Pool. We're in the Jubilee Pool then, was that bathing pool. We went dead and we did a show in the Marquee in the Pirates Club.
Yeah.
That was a good bit of fun, enjoyed that.
And it's back up to it, where it was now. It's looking amazing. And Prince Charles was there last week.
Yeah. Look at that. That's the sort of rabble I got to talk to. hey.
These are your crowd tonight.
Yeah. They're all right, let them go. They're all right. Come and sit down, boys. Be on telly.
Thank you so much to Jethro for joining me on today's show. It's been absolutely a pleasure talking to you, and good luck tonight. I'm sure it's going to be a sold-out show. It's going to be amazing. You've got a crowd excited to see you tonight as well.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you very much.
And if you ever pass in my place, pass right on. And if you hear anything, I'll let you know.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Proper.